Good call on these chicken boys. You want a chicken ball before you start?
No, thanks.
That's right. Focus. In 3, 2, 1, action.
Thank you, Morgan. All right, guys. I think you all know me by now, but my name is Owen Kurvits, and it is my honor to give a talk before your second last run of the whole day. I can't believe we're that close already. I'm going to give you guys a talk about something that I'm extremely passionate about, and I've titled this The Pursuit of Clarity. There are few things in life more powerful than a life lived with passionate clarity. I'm going to say that one more time. You're going to hear it a lot today. There are few things more powerful than a life lived with passionate clarity. Guys, there's a problem, and I want to address the problem right away. I've wondered if you've seen this problem. It's the problem of confusion. Why is confusion a problem? Why is a lack of clarity a problem? I would argue that it's a lack of clarity, or it's confusion, that's the root of a lot of the problems that you're facing today. Okay, let's break it down. A couple of examples here. Think about relational problems. Maybe you've had problems with a friendship or a relationship because there were unclear boundaries within it, which led to several other issues. Think about career. How many of us have had confusing expectations or unclear projects, which led to a whole lot of frustration and a lack of fulfillment? Motivation problems. Guys, what is that project or that goal that you've always had, but you've just lacked that consistent effort to actually get it done? Could that also just be the cause of a lack of clarity? You see, the problems that you're facing, many of the problems that you're facing, are simply just symptoms of the root cause of a lack of clarity in your life. And if you feel as though you're not moving anywhere in your life, maybe it's just because you don't actually know the target. You don't know the aim. You don't know where you're going. Think about it this way. In a roadmap, how are you going to create a roadmap if you don't know where the destination is? If you don't know the end goal, how are we going to start building the roadmap to actually get you there? Okay, that's what confusion is. That's what a lack of clarity is. If we can clearly define and articulate the end goal, the destination, now we can actually start working on getting there. And another one of the issues that we see often come up from a lack of clarity is that people with a lack of clarity of who you are and what you're about become the person or the people who are very easily influenced by the people and the things that are around them, all right? The next best diet, the next best job, the next best product, the next best book. Guys, all those things could be good things. But I'm here to tell you, like, if you find yourself in a state of constantly searching for the next best thing, I need to tell you that you're searching for something that doesn't exist, okay? But I don't think I have to actually tell you that, do I? Because we can all get suckered into this grass is greener on the other side mentality. And it's my job right now to tell you it's time to start watering your own grass. It's time to start developing who you actually are. And that actually becomes the solution to the comparison game. So if you find yourself, like pretty much all of us, stuck in this constant state of comparison between you and the people around you in whatever category that is, and you find yourself constantly, man, this person has this and I don't, this person is here and I'm not there. If you stop worrying about them and you started developing yourself, all of a sudden you can be grateful for them and their roles and their abilities because you know who you are, you know what you're about, you know what you're good at, and you know the role that you can play. The problem of a lack of clarity is really well described in this analogy, and it's an analogy that I use quite a bit, and I'm gonna give it to you right now. So in life, guys, we all have this ladder, and you take your ladder and you're like, this building, I want to climb this building. So you take your ladder, you put it on the side of that building, all right? And then you start climbing. You're like, this is the building that I want to get on top. So you start climbing. And guys, it takes time. It takes some blood, some sweat, some tears, and you're working hard. And not only are you working hard, but you're also looking around you because there's other people climbing the same building. And some are a little bit ahead of you, some are a little bit further down from you. But you're working years to get to the top of this building. Okay, and maybe you're even nudging the person next to you. Maybe you're even pulling someone down a little bit to get to the top. And guess what? One day you're looking up and you can actually see the top of that building. You're almost there. You finally actually get there, right? You make it to the top of this building. You're standing on top of it. You're expecting the greatest thing ever. And you realize, crap, I'm on the wrong building. You just spent years of your life trying to climb a building that you didn't even want to be on. Okay, maybe the building that you want to be on actually is over there. All right. This is what a lack of clarity is. If you don't have a clearly defined building that you're trying to climb, then you're going to spend months or years of your life wasting it, climbing a building, pursuing a definition of success that isn't real. So I'm asking you, how many years of your life do you think you were pursuing a building that you now realize you didn't even want to be on? Maybe it's the building of money, maybe it's the building of popularity, building of fitting in or sports or comfort. Maybe you're just trying to get as much security around you as possible. Maybe that's your building. Or maybe it's like you saw this person with a certain lifestyle and you're like, that seems awesome. That's what I'm going to pursue. Stop for a second and just ask yourself, what made you value that over something else? This is where your core values come in. What makes you place value on something over another is a very key component of figuring out who you are. What are you placing value on? So what's the solution? If I asked you right now, who are you and what are you about? How many of you could have a clear and immediate answer to that right now? Maybe even just pause, take a second, and actually try to answer this. Who are you and what are you about? Do you have an answer? Is it clear? Does it hold powerful meaning to you? Guys, the solution to this is clarity. Let me share with you a little bit about my story so you can see the power that clarity can bring. So growing up, I was a young athletic kid who just didn't want to do anything but hang out and have fun just like any other kid. This worked out pretty fine for me until kind of the summer after grade 10. My parents told me that we were going to move. And for a lot of kids, moving can be a fun, maybe even exciting time. They can find new friends. They can have a fresh start. For me, it kind of felt like my whole world was collapsing in. Everything that I knew that was familiar, everything that the familiar things, kind of the securities that I had were all gone from my life all of a sudden. And so the next 2 years of my life, the next 2 years of high school, I went from being kind of this fun-loving kid to being one of the shyest, most socially anxious, most insecure kids you would have ever met. And just to give you guys an idea of actually how bad this was, she's like, no, I know Owen, man, he's outgoing, he owns his own business, there's no way. Just to give you guys an idea of how bad this was for me, during lunch period, there's 3 places you would find me. Lunch period was the worst because in class, you can just sit, listen to the teacher, you didn't have to interact with any of the kids around you. But at lunch period, well, if you're going to be a high school student, you kind of have to interact with the people around you. So in order to avoid that, I would either play basketball in the gym or go for a walk by myself outside, or I would sit in a bathroom stall by myself waiting for my next class. Literally anything that I could do to avoid a social interaction where all of my insecurities got brought up. So soon after high school, I started gaining a little bit of confidence, but I was still consumed by the opinion of other people. In fact, that was kind of like my measure of if life was going well, was if the people around me liked me. And maybe you can relate to that. Do you measure your life? Do you measure your kind of success right now as if the people around you are liking you? Guys, that's a pretty poor definition of success. So this went on for a couple more years until one day in university, I remember sitting in church one Sunday morning, and I heard a quote by my pastor, which really put me on a road that really set me free from all this. And it was a quote by William Carey. And it was William Carey. This quote is, "I'm not afraid of failure. I'm afraid of succeeding at the things that don't matter." I'm going to give that to you one more time. I'm not afraid of failure. I'm afraid of succeeding at the things that don't matter. Now, you guys probably, just like me, I had heard all these quotes about I'm not afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of it. It's just part of the process. And guess what? I believe those to be true. I believe those to be right. Failure is just part of the process. It's a good thing. But William Carey really takes it one step further. Yes, I'm not afraid of failure, but I am afraid of something. I'm afraid of pursuing a definition of success that isn't real. Okay? It was this perspective and a whole lot of grace of God that took this shy, insecure kid into eventually being a badminton national champion, valedictorian of my university, business owner, a husband, and very soon a father. Okay, how could that shy, insecure kid sitting in a bathroom stall end up doing those things? I'm going to tell you, I'm arguing with you right now that it was because of clarity in my life. So let's rewind for just a second. I graduated, I started my own business, I got married, and in a lot of ways, I was free from pursuing the wrong buildings. But I didn't quite yet have the skills to identify and pursue the right building. You following along? So there's kind of two parts to this. One is not pursuing the wrong building, but then one is also figuring out the right building. So I wasn't quite there yet. And so what did I do? I spent a little over a year intently pursuing what a lot of people would consider personal development. And I don't love that phrase, personal development, because it kind of sounds super cliche, and a lot of people kind of think about it as, you know, you pick up a book, you read it, you put it down, oh, I just developed a person, all right. I think it's a lot more intentional than that, and I think it takes a lot more effort. But I did everything, right? I took all the personality tests. I went over core values, unique abilities, mission statements. I sought out everything that I can find to work on clarifying exercises in my life to find out clarity. So I did this for a little over a year, and I still remember the moment when I finally started to realize that it was paying off. And it wasn't a moment like, you know, my business had taken off, or like I was able to buy a cool car, or even like I got an awesome athletic achievement. The moment that I realized it was paying off, I was sitting in a Swiss chalet with my wife. I know this is like, you know, classic white couple. We're sitting in a Swiss chalet. We have better taste buds than just Swiss chalet, trust me, all right? But we were sitting in a Swiss chalet, and we were having just a candid conversation, reflecting on our marriage, reflecting on the past year of our lives. And I remember Robin looking at me, and she said, Owen, if I could just like summarize the past year of your life and how you've changed in one word, it would be clarity. And that was kind of the first moment when I realized that that's actually what I was doing, is I was getting clarity in my life. I didn't really have that word. Oftentimes my wife is a lot better at kind of putting it into perspective for me of what's going on. She was like, Owen, it's clarity. And then that clarity, Owen, that makes you a better husband. That makes you a better coach. That makes you a better business owner. Why? Because there are few things more powerful than a life lived with passion and clarity. You see, clarity is powerful, and clarity is freedom. Because when you don't have to pursue multiple different definitions of success, you become truly grateful, truly passionate, and impactful around your real definition of success, becoming who you were created to be. So where do we go from here? Well, I'm going to challenge you right now, in whatever time we have left, about 20 minutes or so, to start on your journey in the pursuit of clarity. And we're going to do that with 4 key questions right now. I'm going to quickly go over them, and then at the end, I'm going to get Morgan to bring it up on the screen for you, so you don't have to feel like you have to memorize them. But these are going to be the 4 questions. It's going to be number 1, when you're lying in your deathbed at the end of your life on earth, what will make you say, I lived a good life? Question number 2, can you say that the answer to your question number 1 is the way that you're living your life right now? Question number 3, what then is worth living for? And then lastly, number 4, what needs to change in my life right now in order to put my ladder on the right building? The last thing I want to mention, guys, for the past 2 years of my life, I've taken mentorship groups through a 10-week program, which is completely designed to do exactly this. And I really debated about whether or not to bring this part up, because sometimes when a speaker finishes with a pitch, it kind of takes away from some of the authenticity of the talk. But I'm doing this because I believe in it. I'm doing this because I've seen the impact in my life, and I'm saying this because I've seen the impact in the lives of the people who I brought through the mentorship program. So really quickly, what the mentorship program is, it's a 10-week small group program. We meet online via Zoom. We go through weeks of your past. What has made you the person that you are today? We go through weeks of your present. What is your identity based in? What are your unique abilities? What are your core values? And then we go into your future. Who do you want to be, and how do you get there? We build one exercise on top of each other, 10-week program together, working through those exercises where I'll give you homework each week to work on. And again, I'm saying this because I've seen the impact in my life and in the mentees that I've taken through. If this is something that you are interested in, what I want you to do is go into our momentummarathon.com website, go into our resources page where we've directed you a couple times before. And if you click on my talk, it's going to bring you to a form that you can fill in where basically it's just going to say, hey, I want in on this group, and I'm going to reach out to you very soon after that. We have 20 minutes left until your next talk. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get Morgan to bring up those 4 questions on the screen. I want you guys to grab a pen and a paper, and I want you to actually answer those questions to start on your journey in the pursuit of clarity. And then you're going to do your run at 5 p.m., second last one, guys. And then we're going to come back on at the 25-minute mark where me and Z are going to kind of start to wrap things up together. All right, if you have any questions, please don't be afraid to reach out, whether that's today or in the future, following days. I'd love to hear from you. But that's all I got. Thank you. We'll talk to you later.